Yeah, so again, I want to apologize for having put you through what I'm experiencing um, with that server lag. Alright, so my skills on the back bar. So I'm running Shock Reach because it's also a damage over time. If you read the description, you deal about 4.8 shock damage. And, oh look, I'm also using no crit resist. So this is a PvE build. Even though I have taken this up to Cyrodiil and killed like hundreds of other players up there with it, but in any case, back to skills. Sorry, brain freeze. I don't know what I was talking about there. Unfortunately, again, for those of you that just tuned in, I'm going to remind you that when I made the video, I was talking about things, but my mic was off, so I'm actually now re-recording this with a voiceover. Kind of like how cartoons are made. So anyway, Shock Reach. This is part of your Destro abilities in this skill line. So Destruction Staff and so at this point, explaining the matriarch and these familiar, especially the familiar. A lot of I notice a lot of people are making mistakes now because that little scamp thing, that familiar, when you get to open up its morph, you can either do another familiar scamp or a clan fear. The clan fear heals you, but so doesn't the matriarch. So really, why have two heals on your bar? Because if you do that, then you're taking away DPS. So having the familiar set, it says you deal about 3.6 K shock damage every 2 seconds for 8 seconds, which means it's a dot. So anything that's damage over time, it's going to proc your Valken Scoria helmet to go off. So anything does damage over time. So definitely morph it to that. And so Hardened Ward, this is your snap button. This is something you're going to want to have on your bar at all times. You want to keep this up during battles at all times. It's only a 4 or 5 second shield. Really, I mean, I wish it lasted at least 15 seconds, but as you can see here, they're giving you only 6 seconds for this shield. For you and your pets, so it absorbs about 20% damage. More than Conjured Ward, so but it's capped at 50% of your house. So right now I'm about I'm 30,000, so I'm getting like 15,000 protection right there. Alright, so Crushing Shock. Enemies hit while casting are interrupted, set off balance, and stunned for 3 seconds. So always keep that on your bar as well. It's very important. It's a very good skill to have on your bar. This is part of your Destruction Staff abilities. So Hardened Ward, Crushing Shock, and your 2 pets. These are important to have in that rotation. And your 2 pets, you should also have them on the back bar, because if you don't, then once you swap, both pets are going to disappear. So that's something you don't want to do. So a wall of elements, unstable wall. This too is also a dot. Does damage over time, so you're gonna want to have anything to proc. This is what it looks like when I'm casting it and looking at it, and it does this little explosion, but when I cast it, you don't actually see that animation. You just see me slamming my staff into the ground, and and it doesn't really look good. I mean, it would look super cool if Cinemax let other people see what you see, but that's what I see when I slam it down. And when you get it and you use it, that's what you're gonna see as well. Yeah. So again, the familiar, it does damage and damage over time. Crushing shock, it does a massive amount of damage in triplicate. So you're not just hitting it once, but multiple times. It also has this little perk. And your ultimate, so I'm running Elemental Rage, but I'm using a lightning staff, so it gives you an extra duration per se, because it's only like 6 or 7 seconds that it lasts. But having like a lightning staff, you get extra 2 seconds extra for the duration when you're casting it, which is good because it does a little bit more damage that way. And every little bit helps. So yeah. Where am I going again? Okay, so shock reach. Usually I would run Haunting Curse, but this too is also damage over time. Does about 4.8 shock damage and then additional 7.6k shock damage over 8 seconds. You also stun the enemy for about 2.5 seconds, which is really good. So it's a mix between this and Haunting Curse, but the only drawback to Haunting Curse is you can only have one Haunting Curse at a time. So I'm just actually waiting for the portion of the video where I'm explaining what I mean as to why you should have this over Haunting Curse. So give it a moment, and it'll make a lot more sense. So this is where I'm looking for Haunting Curse right now. Sometimes I'm confused. I don't know where it is. But I found it. It's in that skill line. So I also went on to talk about this, but this is more like a PvP thing. If you're being zerged down by a lot of players, just locking them in place can really do a lot of damage to people that way. Okay, so Haunting Curse, as you can see, does 9.8 magic damage to the target and 4.8 to targets nearby after 3.5 seconds. But then the curse will continue to haunt the enemy and explode a second time, dealing an additional 9,000 magic damage, and then 4.8 damage to surrounding enemies near the target. But you can only have one Haunting Curse active at a time. It is a very good skill, and who doesn't like explosions, right? I mean, I love explosions. But anyway, you can only have one of these, and that is why I made the decision to go with the shock reach. because you could have more than one active. So I can hit a guy here, I can hit one here, I can hit one here, I can hit one here. I can have a whole bunch of them running all at the same time, and whatever I hit, they are going to get hit with the damage over time mechanic. So which is good because one or multiple castings will definitely proc Valken Scoria. So that's the reason why I chose that one, because not only is it a dot, but it also knocks back the enemy, knocking them down, stunning them in their place. But you can switch in between the two. Your playstyle, what works for you, what's best for you, and how you want to run those. Of course, the ultimates is definitely for a matriarch on the back bar, and on the front bar, definitely the lightning storm cloud for a lot of damage. Power surge, again, you're buffing yourself every time you crit. While it's active, when you crit, you're going to heal 2.5. So shield, and then use power surge. Shield and power surge. Shield and power surge. I mean, if you can switch, I mean, if you're not suffering from lag or anything, and you have a good rotation, you're gonna want your shield up, and then you're definitely gonna want power surge. This way, not only are you protecting yourself, but you're getting heals off the hardened ward, but you're also getting heals off power surge. And the bonus to this is you gain all that major brutality and major sorcery, increasing your weapon damage and spell damage by 20% at the same time. So you're a lot stronger using this ability per se. Which is what I was talking about, but it does last a very long time, 33 seconds, and that is huge. That is a good duration.